Well, hello there. Good morning, city planners, mayors, and people who are just wandering the street and looking for something to do. My name is Josh, and welcome to another episode of Dead Men Streaming. Hey, so listen, I wasn't planning on actually running a stream today, um, but I woke up with a bad headache, and Fallout 76 wasn't doing it for me. So, when I logged off last night, I wasn't overly thrilled with how and when I left. We had just built in this farming section up here that's a little uneven in places. And I wasn't happy with how we left this because while we did add some new important things, we added our second rail yard just for planning purposes. We added a whole bunch of farms, and I showed you guys the importance of plotting in a story, like a case where the power company gets into a fight with local landowners and decides that they need to have right of way to their power lines, and putting in pathways and that just to add some seasoning. And then a small little, really badly placed, small plaza, which that was my fault. And then some additional industry, some like commercial and stuff all the way back through here. Not to mention some detailing here, and showed you guys how to take flatland and turn it into a retaining wall. All of that was fun, all of it was important, all of it was, look, wasn't the most exciting thing on the planet, even I know this. We also ended up having to build an extra medical center, the modern medical clinic, because yeah, people started getting sick, and our healthcare system decided to go straight into the toilet. Uh, Still don't have any idea why that spiked low, but sometimes that's just the way that the game rolls, and it did. Now, we had two options: we either build a new medical clinic or build a hospital. And while I want to build a hospital, I don't want to build a hospital right now. Now, I do have a couple of things I have to do on my end before we get started, but what I wanted to do today, excuse me, my head is stopped up, part of the reason I've got a headache. I want to finish a quick bit of development up here that's going to look really ugly, and there's not a whole lot I feel like doing about it today. As we take advantage of some oil that is buried into the ground up here, as oil typically is. And then I wanted to start with some of our roadway planning for the near future. Um, Before we logged off last night, last time we did the stream, or video, depending on where you're watching this, I bought all of this, all of these tiles. I picked up a 9 by 9 tile set for over, 1.5 mil. And it put a dent in our hourly rates. So we can't leave that as it is for long. I went ahead and put up a few starting high density office buildings over here, right off of the highway system, or right onto it, depending on how you look, which wouldn't be too unrealistic in a real world setting, I don't believe. We'll probably end up picking up this square too, just so I can start linking up our side road networks. And now we have plenty of room to develop up through here, down through here, and over here. But the focus is going to be on mapping out exactly how I want my highway system to go. For example, I know that I want it to go across this river. I know that I want it to come down. But then where do I want to go once it's down? How do I want it to manage? And where do I want to put our harbor, which is going to become a focal point for everything we're doing in the city? Well, that's a lot of work, and I wanted to take an hour today and just sort of jump on it. But before I do, let me hop over to chat. Let me hop over to my go live notices. If you enjoy what I do and you want to follow along, well, here, follow me on YouTube. You'll be able to see some of the older videos. I'm uploading them. I've got the first two, the third one's going up this afternoon. Follow me on Facebook for the books that I write, because I do write books. I write fantasy horror and cyberpunk. In fact, this city is named after one of my cyberpunk titles. And then, last but assuredly not least, you can also check me out on Amazon. It's cold. It's snowing. This is BS outside. .com/author/STMW. Okay. All that right there in chat. Now I've got a message to respond to on Messenger. All right. And Now, guys, I think we are good to go. So let's get this party started. Not much of a party, I'm afraid, but let's get it started anyways and put a few things down up here for us. All right. I'm just going to leave the game on pause for a second as I take a quick look because it's going to be dark when I unpause. It seems like it's always dark when I'm building or planning something out. I'm not going to do a ton with oil. As you can see right here, we've got significant amounts. This is like a huge oil deposit all the way down through here. And oil will make you a lot of money in this game. Makes you more money than farming, and I think it may make you more money than ore. It just it looks so bad. This is my chief complaint with all of the specialized industry. Even the farms on their own, it's all the same thing. Occasionally they'll spawn a random building in the middle of a farm, or if we take a look over here to this ore mine, we've got these little ore sections that have spawned up behind it. Um, Lumber isn't so bad. It only decolors the land a little bit, but mining is a very bad discoloration. Nothing that I can do about it. This is purely a game thing. This is somebody who thought, hey, this looks okay, and decided to go with it. I don't have an answer for that. I just have to live with it. I'm going to go ahead and pick up these two tiles because this is pretty deep into our oil section. We'll make that money back. All right, so oil is going to ruin the land, which sounds like a given, and it's going to permanently pollute it. Again, sounds like a given. I'm only putting a couple of oil industry buildings down, but then we're going to do the same thing with the oil buildings that we effectively did with the dairy building, with the farm buildings to get our dairy office. So, like the other specialized resource production, this is going to be one building that has a circle around it that'll define. Do I want to do it like that? Hang on a second. This is one building that's going to. Let me delete these. Sometimes it can be really hard to move them. In fact, you really can't. Once you put them, you're stuck with them. The good news is they don't cost anything. Let me undo this. I should have done this to start with. Usually when I set up an industry area, I always make sure I set up a grid line to take advantage of it. We border the resource nodes. So right here, I'm going to go for 145 seems too much. We're going to go for an angle of 135 off of our starting road node. Just bring that up, keep it then at 180. Eventually that's going to come up and intercept with our highway. We'll have an SPI something coming up through there. Then right here we'll do the same thing. We'll just connect it straight up. There we go. And roughly right about here. So we did one curve at 135. Let's do the second curve at 135 as well. Now this is obviously ruling us out of getting full access to all of this oil over here, and honestly that's completely okay. I do not care. Okay, so we're gonna go I think 135. I think we'll match that. And we'll sneak that connection. We're not going to keep it, but we'll sneak it. And then, is that a 4-lane? Yeah, that's a 4-lane as well. Anyways, as I was saying, because oil so badly deforms the city, and I just don't like it, we're going to do the same thing with it to get its signature building as we did with our farming. And just as a quick reminder, in this case, we're looking for the vehicle factory. And this requires 10 drilling area hub buildings. And all this requires is that you have 10 down at any given time. Once you have them down, you can get rid of some or all of them, and you still get access to this building. It'll grant plus 2% industrial efficiency citywide. It'll also produce new items that you can sell and export, and it'll give us 10% oil deposits that we're not even going to bother using. It's in part because I want to have a big building. It's in also part because I want the small industrial boost, but it's not going to make that big of a difference. This is not something that's like, oh no, he's exploiting. He is doing something that's going to break. No, I'm not. I'm really not. This is going to have a minor impact. It will have an impact, and we'll be okay with it. All right, let me go ahead and get the game running because I'm going to need it to be daylight when I start our other work. So I'm going to try to keep these actually as close to the road as I can. I'm going to set up one. I'm going to set up a second. And now, let's see. So that runs just about to that intersection. That runs just about to that intersection. And that runs. Yeah. I'm just going to go with these three right now. Those are the three that we're going to develop. And then we'll come down and build up for our vehicle factory. All right. You're about to see what I mean when I say that these things are super ugly. Like, I mean, no disrespect to the amazing devs at Paradox. And here's the other thing. Look, I've said this so many times before, I live in West Virginia. And Appalachia is home to the oil and gas industry, period. You may think, like, oh, it's Texas. You may think, yeah, it is. It's heavy in Texas. But we put the F in fracking over here, all throughout West Virginia and Kentucky and Ohio. And these plants smell worse than you know. They really do. I have nothing but respect for the hardworking people who provide for their families by working in the oil industry. Do not take that any other way. I think anybody who can work an oil rig is likely far stronger than I will ever be in my life. And they have my absolute full and complete respect in that regards. It just so happens that unfortunately that the industry that they're working in is killing everybody. Allegedly. I'll just say that. That said, that oil and gas is a highly political topic, and I didn't flag this channel for that. So all I can show you is that, hey, listen, it is not an uncommon sight as you are driving through West Virginia to suddenly see an oil field. And this is where my beef is. Look at this. Suddenly you put down an oil field and, okay, they grade off the grass. You know what? That's reasonable. But there's something about this texture, there's something about this setup that just makes me want to cringe. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I do not know if it's solely a me thing, if this is just a Josh, get over it kind of thing, or if this is, something that is that unattractive to other people. If you think this oil field setup looks attractive, or if you think it adds character to the city, please let me know. Please tell me, like, hey, here's a few ways you can make this look a little bit better. I will gladly implement your suggestions. I mean, I will come back here. I will jump back over here on this. I'll do it in a live stream and apologize. But since the game came out and I've been setting these down, I just don't like them. In fact, this is one of the few times I'm even bothering with oil industry. And I'm doing it mostly as an example. If this was one of my regular cities, probably wouldn't even bother. I just wouldn't. But you guys deserve to see how these look, how this works. And let's take a quick look. I didn't bother to see. Is it going to tell us how much we're actually working out of here? All right. So if you want to know how much you're producing, when you're dragging around your area, look at the harvestable resources. That'll tell you how, well, much resources this is getting out of it. So that's getting up to 318 tons there of additional resources. Over here, we'll stretch this out. So another 277 tons. And then with this one, bring this out a hair more too. And as we do, 265 tons of harvestable resources, quote unquote. And what that will do for us is, one, it's going to earn us some additional money. And it's going to do that by when we go over to production and take a look and scroll down, we're no longer importing oil. We are exporting it. We've got a surplus of it. And so the way that I've talked about this, but not really gone into it pretty deeply. The way that the simulation runs the economy in terms of production of materials is that you will start harvesting raw materials out of your city. They will then go to your industry, and they will then go to your offices or your commercial area. Sometimes they go straight to your offices depending on what's being made. So you can see this right here. So oil drilling creates crude oil goes to processing, it's going to make refined oil, it's also going to make petrochemicals, and leftover will be exported. If you come down to material goods, you'll be able to see what goods your city's actually producing. In this case over here, these chemicals, some of them are going straight to consumers, some of them are going back into processing to make plastics, others into processing to make medication, I believe, and then more being exported. And then we go down to plastics. Okay, some of these are going to consumers, some of them are going to processing to make automobiles, some of them are going to processing to make computer chips. And then you scroll down to this, okay, processing, electronics, consumers, services, in office. In this case, it'll be things like media and ISPs. And then finally, telecommunications, which is a service which does not produce a visible good. It's not something that's going to be stuck in a truck. Whereas plastics and electronics would be, these services just exist. Or down here to vehicles, we get consumers and export. And every step of this is a step for us to make money. Based off of our taxes, based off of people buying and selling. And when they make money, it comes into our city. All right, now let me zoom out. You can see, like I said, why I don't really like that. That from the out glare, that just looks awful. It wouldn't look so bad if we were on a desert style map. I think it would look actually pretty freaking good. But here on a bright green map, there's something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. And truthfully, with the vanilla game and the vanilla modding tools, I don't think that there's a whole lot more we can do with it. If we looked over here down in the industrial section of our display props, sure, we can, plop a few items around here, fill in the gaps a little bit. Like for right here, I can come over, I can grab a sand surface. We'll start on the sidewalk so nobody can see it. We'll drag it up and around. Complete that area. Okay, so that does get over there. We'll delete these trees. We'll delete the sand area because that's the thing I just did. Try that again. Okay, going under the sidewalk, instead of going all the way over into that field, we'll come up close to it. A little closer. If you right click, it will delete a node. Okay, so now we've got a sand surface here. Go over down here for props. I'm not spending more than a minute on this, so I promise this is not going to take long. So I'm going to take our pedestrian road, or our pedestrian path. Make sure we get it close enough to the road that it connects, but doesn't. No, that's terrible. That's not even. We can do better than that. Just follow the path. There we go. Okay, so that sort of connects, and then I'll take a moment and then I'm going to go into industrial. All right. Ore storage silos we don't really need. Ore storage. Okay. And then we can actually plop a few of things like this, like these oil storage tanks. Of course, we can also just plop these straight on the grass too, but that doesn't seem like it would be right. But I mean, we place these and yeah. Like, okay, does that make it look a little bit better? Yeah, it makes it look a little bit better. Does it make it look great? No, it doesn't make it look great. Is there anything we can do to make it look better? I mean, sorta, we can drop in a few industrial buildings here and there. I'm curious to see if I put a, see, dropping industrial buildings on top of that prop will delete the prop. On the other hand, it will go on top of the mapping we put. Zone buildings get weird with the decoration tool here, just so you know. So when you're doing like surfaces, if you're changing the surface, I can't create a surface with an existing building. It'll delete the building. But I can sometimes have buildings pop up on a surface. So if you want to resurface an area before you put a building down, you can. If you want to resurface an area after you're putting a building down, it won't always let you. Why? Game logic. All I can tell you guys, I don't know. And like we did in a couple other places, I'll go ahead and bring this road out. Take a look at our parking. I want that medium gravel lot because it fits in so well in so many ways over here, except for where I need it to. Oh, I could not have placed that worse if I tried, could have I? Huh. Alright. We're going to go back to our 4-lane tool. We're going to go to our upgrade. We're going to turn off all of that. Scoot that over. Sure, that intersection looks like a headache now, but I don't care. Okay. We'll add that gravel lot there. Then we'll come over to our tools. Drag it out like we've done before just to fill in that spot. Because believe me, I know gravel doesn't stop where you want it to stop. Okay. So a small gravel parking lot right there. We could probably, I don't know, I hate to say just fill this whole thing in with gravel parking lots. But if you fill this whole side section in with gravel parking lots, or at least 2 or 3 right there, then fill in. And put another parking lot right beside it. What do you think? Just for style. I'll live with that. Okay, I'm going to let these develop. Otherwise, I'm going to spend like an hour trying to make this look reasonably attractive. And I'm going to fail if I do. I'm going to expand that to fit that, because that's... Okay, so this is about all the tweaking that we're going to get for this little bit of oil right here. Now, like I said, I want to go ahead and unlock our factory. So let me jump on that really quick. This is only going to take us a couple minutes. All right, so we've got 3 out of 10. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Vehicle factory built. And again, that cost us nothing. And now we're going to get rid of these. Make people happy. We'll make even the other oil production happy because there's like, oh, they pollute. You would know. Okay, so we've unlocked the vehicle factory now. And it's a pretty sizable building. A little bigger than I thought it was. I was hoping I could stick it in right over here, but we're not going to be able to get away with that. And we're unfortunately not going to be able to stick it up there. And I don't want to stick it over here on the other side of these farms. So our really only option is to stick it over here, or as it turns out, we do have this odd industrial area down here that we haven't done anything with, because this is our geothermal power plant. It's staying here for the foreseeable future. We can put some upgrades on it if we really want, like this binary cycle power. What will that do to the building? It will not change the building in any way. Does it do anything for us? Increases our electricity production, which will increase our energy exports, which will make us more money. I think I'm just going to hold off on that right at the moment. We're not brokish. So down here is actually going to be a pretty solid place to put in a factory. In the future, we'll be buying up the rest of this coastline over here as well. So we'll be snapping up, how many more tiles? Oof. What? All of those tiles. And working on an industrial port down here. For now, though, it's not going to kill us, I think, if we do the following. Let's get rid of that road connection. Let's take this 6 lane. We're going to drag it out a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean we're going to go all the way over here to this road. And then we're going to go up here to this 2-lane road with perpendicular parking, which I'm sure I didn't mean to build. Probably meant to build angled. Well, we build it. We'll stick with it. Okay, perpendicular parking all the way coming down here. So we've got a geothermal power plant right here, and I don't know about you, but if I've got a massive industrial structure, I'm going to look at adding additional industrial structures nearby. And this should be okay because, listen, our production, while our production is all the way up here, all of our production has a very easy highway access right here. It also has access to this lovely train yard, this cargo train yard. And we will be expanding upon that. That cargo train yard will have another line coming down out this direction in the future. We'll have to do some yeah, we'll have to plot that carefully to make that work, but we'll make it work. All right. But for the moment, let's go ahead over here to our vehicle factory. I'm not worried about this water being polluted. We're not drinking out of it. We're not going to drink out of it. And our power plant's going to do power planty things. So where exactly do we want to have this? Right up against the main road seems honestly like the best place. Do we want to have it be right next to that line in that corner? I'm going to say no. We're going to drop this right here. We're going to leave those spots available because we're going to come down. We're going to go over to industry. I'll go ahead and fill that in with additional industry right there. Now we have this really cool automotive park for a vehicle factory. This will take metals and plastics, make vehicles from us. And as I said, 2% industrial efficiency citywide. This will help some of our buildings level up a little bit. And extra oil deposits that I do not care about. Plus, it's going to be a workplace for 363 employees. Now, downside, it does generate a lot of noise pollution, so we're not going to put anything residential anywhere near this, but we really weren't going to anyways because it's a factory. And I'm not that much of an asshole. Sorry, I gotta watch my language. I'm trying, guys. There are much less F's on this stream than I ever thought there would be. All right, so as I am doing this, let's take a look at some other things we can do for this immediate area. Much as I would like when a pedestrian street right here seems kind of insulting to a vehicle factory. However, let's go ahead and add some perpendicular parking actually perpendicular parking in this case. This is intentional. And we're just going to swipe this all the way down the side of this building. Over here. Alright. Let's take a look at that spot right there. Of course, don't do that. As always, you know, I'm thinking of the dreaded P word. That's going to be too big. That's going to be too big. Large parking lot's going to be too big. Medium. A small will almost fit, but if it does, it wipes out that building. I kind of feel a little bit bad about that, but the choice is either one building or two. So let's go ahead and fit it in. And then I'm going to use a couple of motorcycle parking lots right behind it. It leaves us with a strange, undevelopable. Ugh. We got a spot right here that I don't really like. Let me take a look at my parks real quick before I make any decisions. So, canopy cover corridor park. That, I feel like that should fit. Why is it not? Let's take it off of snapping. Let's rotate it. Let me burp in your ear because that's disgusting and it's part of my brand. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, two small little break room-like areas. But that still leaves this weird little... I better not be hearing another. Okay. We still have this just very weird thing right here. So let me see. I'm going to abuse our system's hair. I want to pull those apart, get a pathway. Okay, we got our pathway. Let's turn on snapping again. Turn off snapping because now it's going to not let me get behind that parking lot. Okay, nothing I do, I think, is going to get me behind that parking lot, which is fine. Having a fight with snapping, whether it wants to snap or doesn't snap. Okay, and then finally, I think we're going to take our surface tool. This surface has already been automatically expanding a little bit beyond the edge of that pathway. Sometimes it'll do that, sometimes it won't, sometimes it'll make us have a headache. And as somebody who's already the proud owner of a headache today, let's try very hard. So what I'm doing, really just for looks, I think this is gonna come out pretty good. One thing I'm doing is waiting for our income to increase, which is, again, this is a simulation. It does take a few minutes for certain changes to go into effect. because there is a thing or two that I do want us to buy. Okay, so that expands that. We've got that, and then I'll come back in a bit, and I'm going to add a few things down to right here, but nothing that has to be added right this minute. We'll fill this in, make this a little park thing. Let me drop a couple of trees here, though. Sort of hide those unnecessary green spots. Okay. Alright, and then when we come back, we'll drop a few bonus items down over here. Alright, let's take a look at this road. This is 4-lane. Perpendicular parking. I have no idea what has happened with this intersection right here. What is this? This is a transformer, so we definitely still need that. Let me pause really quick. I'm gonna... Well, that's just connected in all the weird ways. I'm gonna very quickly try to fix this while keeping it still. As 180 degreeable as possible. Okay, so that intersects. Well, that intersection looks like the things that nightmares are made of, doesn't it? Okay, this is why physics gave us roundabouts. Okay, here we go. Oh, I forgot the transformer. Can't have the transformer be broken. That's more than meets the eye. Okay, so we've got some additional secondary industries right behind this. I guarantee you they're not going to make anything that's vehicle related, like food. Minerals there, timber, paper, petrochemicals. That one actually makes sense. More chemicals. Okay. I'm trying to... We could probably use some of our vanilla tools to sort of make like a driving track or something back here behind this vehicle factory. Just for the looks and style of it. That's something we're going to keep that open for to experiment with later. Right now, it's not really necessary. Let's take a look though what we're doing for income. And that factory gave us a pretty solid boost. Look, we're back up to 54,000 at the moment, and this is good. We're approaching the area where we're going to be printing money like a madman soon. I need to answer something. Now, let's see. All right. So I told you guys the plan was to get those oil fields down and then get that automotive plant down. And then I'm going to see what time did I start streaming? Do I know? 8:44. Okay. I've got about 20 minutes left on this morning stream because weirdly I have an appointment today, although I don't know if I'm going to make it with this weather outside, but I got to try. So, ick. Yeah, ick is going to be my statement on this matter. All right. We're going to have to do some work on our highway system to the best we can. And unfortunately, a lot of the work that we're doing right now, we're not going to see any kind of dividends for a very long time. But we're going to do the best we can. First, I just saw a car wreck, and I know we're okay, but this game gives us something called the Road Maintenance Depot, and I don't think that I've built any. Road maintenance depots are important. They'll send out road service vehicles to assist your city. They'll improve the quality of your roads. And in addition to that, they'll also clean up any car wrecks you may see. So when you see a flashing icon like this, road maintenance will be dispatched to get this vehicle off the road, and they work in conjunction with police and fire. They're super useful. Um, you don't really need them until your city expands. We haven't really built any, and I really should get a couple down. So right now they're relatively cheap. They're 75. We can definitely afford them. Got to turn snapping back on really fast. Uh, the first one is going to come up over here in our industrial park because it looks like an industrial building. This is something that's going to fit in really perfectly up here. It is going to generate some pretty significant traffic. This is a building spawn. So as you look right here, see all of those road maintenance vehicles. I'm going to go ahead and add 5 more for $4,000. If only if it was that cheap. Okay. So now what these guys are going to go out and do, they're going to go out, they're going to start patching the roads, paving holes, stuff that we can't see, but something that the game is like, hey, these road conditions are terrible. The mayor hates us. Well, that's partly true. I'll let you guess which part. And then, now that we have that down, we can take a look. It's going to take them a little bit of time to make those adjustments, but you're always going to have car wrecks and car crashes. It makes beyond total sense to me to have a road maintenance depot next to an automotive plant. I don't think that I'm crazy for feeling that way. So let me just... let me just go ahead and sneak this in, just like right over here. Okay, that was a worthy expenditure. All right. And this is going to help us out in the long term. Okay, so we've got that done. Something to keep in mind later is that we are going to want to work some public transportation of some kind over here, whether it's another bus stop, a bus station, or something along that line. This is packing in almost 400 people. We do want to make sure that people can get down here easily and safely, and not necessarily just by driving down. Okay, but we started by breaking this, and we didn't do anything with it after we broke it because I sometimes get distracted really easily. So we're going to look for and grab a single point interchange. It is going to fit in exactly right on the edge of that. I want it to be 180. Don't do that. Don't complain like that. Huh. And right there, as good a space as any for it. Okay. Let's just go ahead and connect that. Three to three, and then let's break our road lane rules really quick. Definitely not the cleanest connection. But for our needs right now, it's going to be the best we can. That looks so ugly. I'll come back and fix it later. Okay. I had intended to leave this rail track alone, but I really need to get this connection. So, since it's going to be bridging over this river, I don't want it to go underground, which means that the road does, which is fine. So, get our 6 lane. I always forget to do the step down first, and if I recall correctly, it's going to be negative 7.5 meters. Then we will have to break that track. We'll reconnect it in a moment. And we'll do that first just to make sure that we were right. Yep. Bring this up to ground level. I keep forgetting I have that reminder set. Please ignore that. This is why I'm not a professional streamer. All right. Just to clarify that, I do take something for heart health. That, yeah, just leaving it at that. Okay. All right then. Now let's look at what we can do for road network on this side of the tracks. I'd like to get this under this highway, but that's going to require some doing, I think. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this to fit under this highway. We are not going to be able to get this to go under this highway. How cute. We need this to go under this highway. That's the problem. We certainly don't want it to go up to the highway. All right, I'm going to drag that over there. We're going to pause the game. Okay, it's going to be an uneven road. We're going to live with it. Get our snapping back on. This is a 4 to a 4. We're good. Four to a 4. We're good. Okay, we bridged that. That readjusted that. That threw off the height of that for some reason, but okay. Yeah, that's a future me headache. Okay, now let's finish up connecting our roadways network over here, just for eventual development. So I want to note, there has been nothing that has been stopping us from packing people into the city. The reason why I've been building the way that I have so far is that I'm really trying to lay the groundwork for us to have an exponential growth spurt. Right now we've got 34,000 people in the city. This is roughly the size of my hometown. I live in an area there's 2 cities pressed up next to each other with about, call it, I don't know, 5 feet of space between the where one city begins, one city ends. One city's got around 50,000, one people's got around 30,000 population. It's in a valley. It's a bit of a nightmare to get through, and it's spread out a lot further than this is. We also don't have this much industry. We do have industry, but it's all along the river, and it pollutes the water and the air and the general vibe of everything. So just imagine how many people you would expect to see in a town of 30,000 people. You would expect to see neighborhoods. We have more apartment complexes here than you would have in a city that's about 30,000. 30,000 cities with around 30,000 people typically are going to be single dwelling households with the occasional apartments, but nothing that's, excuse me, excuse me twice. Very sorry about that. But nothing where we're going to have 1,000 people living in one apartment block like we have over here and in this area. That doesn't happen in cities this size. So you can already tell that we've sort of crossed the Rubicon in terms of realism. And a city this size is certainly not going to have two train stations side by side each other. We're building a very large foundation here to accommodate what we're going to have coming in for influx for businesses and new housing developments and everything else like that. All of this will be getting filled in. All of this will be getting filled in. All of this will be getting filled in. And all of this will be getting filled in. These things are going to happen. But this city doesn't, this game doesn't really do a great job on emulating what I feel would be natural city growth. Cities grow out of locations, but in this game, you have to build your city to get a location. Cities grow out of a manufacturing plant. They grow out of a port. They grow out of a rail station. Yeah, obviously, adding a rail station to a city can be done. Adding a major industrial plant to an area can be done. It happens all the time. But flipping that, a city doesn't start because somebody found flat land. A city starts because somebody saw the ability to develop something on a chunk of flat land. And it kind of goes from there. So I always feel like I'm approaching this backwards whenever I build a city. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that I can do about that because I'm just here playing a game. All right. So I just wanted you guys to keep that in mind for a minute while I just sort of explain why we are planning the way we are. I've said it before, and I think one thing that would be really awesome in this game is if we had actual planning tools. If I could start, if I could start a city by saying, okay, here's my map. I've only got 4 tiles I can design on, but here's a future development area that I want to, plot for. And just do that, have that tool be naturally ingrained other than having to visualize it. Maybe that would go a long way. I don't know. All right, so we did connect an SPI over here. Back to it. I'm just going to be using 6-lane roads right now as our guide lane. Remember how expensive these were a couple of episodes ago? Yeah. This is what happens when you start making money in this game, I tell you. Alright, that's a 4. We're going to make it 6, and that's can't get past that corner. Blast. I need to get past that corner. Done, you guys. I need to get past it. And we ain't getting past it, are we? Without buying it. Well, I have words for that. I think those words are going to be ka-ching. Chink. Ka-chink. Emulating the sound there, not saying something horrible. Okay. Let's... Alright. Now, I'm going to want... We're going to be putting in a couple of SPIs over here. Again, SPIs are just the easiest way to manage highway connections in this game. I wish they weren't because they drive me mad. But that's the nature of the game we've got right now. Oh, and that poor truck is going to get so confused. It's going to... Yeah. Oh, you took the wrong turn, didn't you, homie? Alright. How is that not? Trying to get our 180. There we go. Okay, so we're going to come down, honestly, to about there. Because if you've noticed, these SPIs do take up a lot of room. Truthfully, we could get away with having this SPI end come up a good bit closer. In fact, we're going to... Why is that not... Ooh, careful. Always be careful when you're trying to mass select, because if your mouse slips, you'll end up selecting huge parts of your node, and I don't want to rebuild that. In fact, let's save. Because we have done a lot of progress. Let's resume. It's about to be dark in the game. Just notice the time for the game clock. So let's pause so I have enough light that I can see what I'm doing. That is most definitely not even. Let's make some adjustments. Okay. First, the adjustments. It still does not look like it's 180. Does it look like 180 to anybody else? It's lining up with something, but not the thing that I want it to line up with. That's strange. Let me, instead of going double, let me go single. That is so odd. What is this thing's problem? Okay, let me go with 2-lane, snapping from that. I think that looks better. Okay, and then we get our SPI installed. Right here, grab our highway, do our upgrades. Because we did convert from a 2 to a 3. But right down here, we're going to go ahead and split this from 3 to a 4. Do the same thing right there, upgrade. Okay, with any luck, that's enough room for people to get to from around and get into the right lanes without having complete world-breaking panic attacks. Okay. Swing that 6-lane over, done. Cool. Oh, this is working out perfectly. Okay, but just because it's working out perfectly here doesn't mean we are done, because we are most definitely not done. What I need to know is, can I get under that highway? Yes, I can. At a 90-degree angle at that. Bring that at a 90. We're good. Cut this all the way across at 90. 180. Still counts. Bring that all the way up to there. Laying out our starting grid with 6-lane roads. Okay, this is looking great, guys. We'll go ahead and bring this down. Connect to that where it comes off of that SPI. At 90. We're good. We're good. At 90, we're good. Let's get some roundabouts. We will want them. We'll use these. We'll use that, well, a roundabout anyways. Ooh, no, we won't, because look what that, putting that there did to that node. It gave it that weird stair step. Let's delete that. I'm not putting up with that right now. They'll live without that being a bout of round. Okay, however. All right, we got those there. So far, so freaking awesome. All right, now with all of that done, we've got a little bit more hard work still to do. The plan is that we have our highway system, coming in from the far west. It spins in, it hits our first multi-stack interchange, which is going to be growing with traffic in the future. But as it stands right now, it's serving our two industrial parks and is the first point of entry for any city development that we have up in this area. Then it comes down. We have a junction here with a dumbbell exchange, I think, that's servicing our power plant and our vehicle factory and some additional industry that's going to be built up around this area. Then if you come in to our main interchange and head east, you're going to hit two SPIs. One gives you access into the city proper. The other one gives you access to an 8-lane road that runs all the way down and reconnects to our highway system. Now, if you go south from this, you get opportunities to continue going south or southeast in this case, or to cut down, skip going through the city center, skip going through our 8-lane traffic corridor, and get back on the highway to head down south to our port, or head east into our developments that we'll do over here along the coastline. All of these things are going to be pretty important for our city. What's not going to be overly important for our city is adding an additional highway network down here. In fact, I'm not going to say that we won't develop a highway system down here, because I know me and I like to take advantage of islands. I like islands. I like building on islands. But how we're going to build on this island and get over to it is going to be a question for the ages. And the ages are not here. So let's take a look at our intersections. Trumpet roundabouts are one of those things that look like they should work very well, and they do for about 5 minutes on light traffic. A trumpet intersection works really good if you don't intend for anybody to get off the highway. I do. We're going to want people to hop off the highway here. We're going to want people to have an intersection in and out. I'm not opposed to building our own diversion diamond over here to take advantage of this. Because whatever we do for our highway system, if I want it to branch off over here, it's going to have to come from this area, because down here is going to be no touchy. This is going to be your no touchy zone. Really, this should be your no touchy zone, but we're not going to get away with that. So, of course, our other options, we have our partial cloverleaf, which is that road up there. I misnamed the road type. My apologies. These work great if you decide not to use an SPI. In fact, they almost work better than an SPI in a lot of cases. They handle a little bit more traffic load. Do not like dumbbell interchanges. Just they look so stupid. All right, teardrop roundabout is basically an SPI that's sad, and then of course we do have our SPIs, and then the other three interchanges we got: cloverleaf, roundabout, interchange, then cloverleaf, and then our big boy. With these as our options, knowing that I want my highway system to come down, I want to have highway going up. That's the other part of this. We will be splitting this highway, and it will come down, follow the river, follow the coast, connect right about in here, come down and reconnect with the main body of our highway network down here, so that people can avoid going through our city entirely to get down through here. It is something that will make a difference for us. It's just going to be a costly difference to make, and it's not where I want to invest my money right now. So we do, at the bare minimum, need either a trumpet interchange or a trumpet roundabout. Arguably, let's take a quick look at our, okay, so yeah. So just to sort of follow the curves of the land, I think that we will make do. Oh, I will hate myself for this. I know I will. We're gonna make do for the time being. Um, and I'm running the math on how much traffic I expect to come in here. See, the other T intersection we have is this really, really nice T intersection, but it doesn't provide any uh, interchange service, no off ramps, no anything, which will force all of our traffic coming from this end to go right there. This is a valid option. An additional teardrop, uh, not teardrop, excuse me, our roundabout interchange right here would be a very valid option. And then we'll have our connection road coming up and just meeting into the highway and spinning up to it. Um, it's really not my first choice, and I'm not convinced it's my best choice, but I know that it's going to work better in the long run than a trumpet roundabout. Where we get in trouble with the trumpet roundabout, and I'm going to drop this thing down over here so you guys can see it, is how the actual roundabout part of it works. Even if we upgrade those lanes into 2 or 3, like they really should be instead of just 1 and 2, um, vehicles entering and coming off of it are going to get very, very confused. It happens every time I use this particular asset. And that's a major shame because, in theory, it should work really, really well. But we end up with a problem where cars are going to be coming in from, in this example, coming in from the west side, getting down, going through the roundabout, and then continuing east instead of following the 2 lane cut through the center. And I don't know why they do it. It's weird even by city skyline standards. Um, it would look a lot better and it would make a lot more sense. But with the traffic volume that we're going to have coming up through here, it's just not a good idea. This is designed for a suburban 3-way hybrid energy. Yeah, yeah. This both the cloverleaf and the roundabout interchange have capacity for moderate traffic. This handles more traffic better. It just does. And let me pop down over here so you guys can see it. So you can see how this works. Anybody going north to south or east to west, it just avoids the roundabout entirely, either by going over it or under it. Everybody else gets the chance to play Russian roulette right there in the center. Uh, and then it comes down to ground level and connects with a 2 lane, or sorry, a 4 lane 2-way highway, which is going to look pretty good for what we're going to do here, I think. Because we won't necessarily have to have that be highway. Well, alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and set this right here at the back end of the SPI. Let's go down here, take a look at how this is set up. So you can see it for our standards. Alright, so we have traffic coming along Park Highway. If they're going straight, they go under the roundabout. If they're going elsewhere, they get on the roundabout or the edges of the roundabout and then connect or whatever they need to do. Okay, the kind of downside is that it's going to make life difficult for this side road to come up through here. So there's really not a whole lot I can do about it. I can either attempt to go under and then, you know what, I can do that. Hang on a sec. We're going to do that. I'm going to break this a little bit. I broke the rest of that. Guess I did not. Alright, and if I saw correctly, that was 2-lane coming out of this. Okay. All right, well, that connected that. That solved that problem. So we're good there. Now we've expanded our southern road network. Now, here's the question. We know we want to have this highway effectively is going to end down here, no matter what. Turning on snapping, or turning on contours. I'm going to drag that over. And that's not down far enough for me to do that yet. Okay, I'm going to go straight all the way down to this edge where you can see the slight contour line. It's going to be so minor, like it's not going to matter. But then we're going to follow that contour to keep this aligned with the coastline. And at the same token, we're going to try to keep it at a odd number degree. There we go. Still following the coastline at 180 right there. Up there so far, so really freaking good. Trust me, this is great. Okay, now we have two options here. I can either allow this to cut through and enter our roadway network right here, which looks like maybe our best option, and down here. But if I do have it connect here, well, let's really look at this. Because I'm thinking I want this to follow up along this highway, or along this hillside, and I don't want to interfere with this corner in any way. We're going to have a connection up there, and what I want and what I get are going to be two entirely different things. I don't really want to do a whole lot more development of this network until I figure out exactly how. We do need this to go this way, though. There's no question about that. So this type of interchange is staying. It's just a matter of where would I want a bridge to connect from point A to point B. And I think looking at the grades over here, let's get down to sea level. Ew, looking at the grades, we're not going to. And I'm going to tell you why. You see this blue right here? This blue line is a harbor freight line, or a harbor line, period. It's not something we've unlocked yet, but we do have unlockable points, so let's go do that. Okay, we've unlocked water now. So when we start putting down water, one of the things we're going to have are our seaways. And our seaway navigations are going to be using these dotted off, effectively roadways that you see here in the water. Now, why am I making unhappy noises about this? Because in The way this game is designed, in order to cross a seaway bridge, you need to have a bridge height of something close to 40 meters high. And it's kind of nuts. So, let me think for a second. Because as kind of nuts as that is, that tells me we're not bridging right here. It tells me we're going to be bridging here as we had planned. It tells me we'll bridge here, but I'm not bridging this. I have bridged it in the past. I'm trying to remember how I did it, but I don't believe that I bridged it from here. So let me take another second look at this. I think we're still good if we have this here. This is going to serve as another additional highway junction that we're going to want, we're going to need. So it's still important, and I'm still happy we have it. But I'm going to take this 4-lane highway right here, and we're going to upgrade it to a 4-lane street. We're going to get rid of the pedestrian cross and the stop sign. We are, however, going to leave the deer alone. Hi, deer. What's up, guys? Deer on a highway. Wow, I am building this according to my homeland. All right. Those are adorable. I hadn't noticed them before. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and connect that. Follow that hillside slope right there on the bottom, and we're going to follow it again on the top as well. Let me put our gradient tool back on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we got two different heights there. That's going to make a visual difference later. All right, and last but not least, let's terminate the end of this highway node by largely doing the same thing, except instead of using 4 lanes, we're going to come over here for our, where are you hiding? Our 8-lane divided road. And I have had the game on pause for a while. I'm going to go ahead and unpause it just so we can have some money rolling in. Like, I feel bad that we haven't been able to have money rolling in, but I haven't wanted to risk having to do this with all the lights off, not be able to see what I was playing at here. Okay, we'll upgrade both of these. Upgraded those on and off lanes to 2, so we can upgrade those to 4. Same thing over here. Remove the walkways. Change the stoplight into stop signs. And we're good. All right. Cool. We've got the basis of our grid installed for our harbor import. Big stretch. Many apologies, but big stretch. Okay. Really need to buy up these side nodes. They're not going to hurt us if we do. What are we making right now? 59 an hour, almost 60. Yeah, we can go ahead and afford. So let me just get these snapped up right now. Only 350,000. They're not going to kill me. What would that be? 126. 242. Okay, don't need to do that. All right, and I did this so that I can start connecting these roads up and clean this mess up a little bit over here on the side. But first, caffeine. Okay, so I've been on for about an hour, 20 minutes today. Let me turn our speed up to max to fast forward this. Let me see what we have unlockable really quick over here. We already picked up water. We've got 16 development points remaining. I think we're good so far on things like post sorting, server farm, satellite. We don't need those. I am going to go ahead and snap up our tourist attractions, however, just so that in the chance that we get a significant amount of money, we can do something about it. We haven't built our city hall yet, so I'm not worried about the central bank. I'm not worried about shelters or anything else like that. The medical university would be nice to pick up at this point. Even though we do have our major university down, it's something that will allow us to unlock another industrial complex, but they are super expensive. Over here under health, we do have another two high value options. First one would be the Disease Control Center, which will just improve the general health of the city. And the same thing with the Health Research Institute. Just to show you guys really quick, we'll take a peek at them. All right, the Disease Control Center will give us a negative 25% disease infection risk citywide, and it'll decrease our health effects from pollution by another quarter. It is an expensive building at $2 million, but those are some pretty sizable benefits. The Health Research Institute, on the other hand, half as much, does still reduce our disease infection risk, but it increases our park entertainment across the city. So every park is going to get an additional 10% bonus. That's something like in a city like ours, where we have a lot of parks, will add up in a hurry and make our city more viable for literally everyone. That is definitely an option for us to consider. Advanced water pumping station, as far as I know, don't need it. For power, we should still be good. And for roadways, the underground parking building is a very, very nice parking structure. Never makes sense to me, however, to put it on a coastline. That's what we're working on, so maybe not. Tram is an option, but we do only have a remaining 8 development points, and we spend 2 on tram, 2 on police headquarters. That'll bring us down to 4. And then the other item that's worth grabbing would be very worth getting. Very, very worth getting. Would be the Industrial Waste Processing Center. This will decrease the average pollution level of all industrial buildings across your city. It's really important if you're doing a lot of industry. Unfortunately, like all the other high-end things, it is significantly expensive. In fact, this is the most expensive building we've seen so far at $6.36 million. But negative 15% industrial ground pollution citywide, and 250 garbage trucks on top of that. That's a perk. It's a big solution to a lot of problems. Okay. Oops. So let's go ahead back into our setup. So that's definitely out. The DRC, the HRI, we can put a hold on for right now. We'll be investing in them in the future. Power, not worried about it. Generally not interested in any of these right at the moment. Server farm will be useful. It'll unlock a building for us later. But air would be great. But air is, again, expensive, and that's an entire episode in of itself. All right. Let me start with police headquarters. Come up to I always prefer the medical university. I don't know why. So we've got 4 points left. I'm going to go ahead and snag trams. I almost never use them, but maybe we can find a use this time. And then I guess just because we have the points, I'll go ahead and grab the technical university too. So when we take a look at these under education, you'll see that the technical university grants 10% industrial efficiency and office. We don't have a lot of office, and our industrial is, and then our medical university, 25% recovery failures, which is always a good thing, and 10% hospital efficiency. Okay, also good. Now, before we go gung-ho on developing this, we're so close. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. And now you see why I don't sing. All right, let's take a quick look at our services. Right now, our electricity availability, we got plenty. We're consuming 57 megawatts out of the 248 we're currently producing, so we're good on that. We're exporting 193 of those, so that's great. How's our water doing? Well, we're trading none, which is fine. We've never traded any water so far because of the way that the pipe system is set up. We're currently have an output of 224-ish cubic meters a month. We're only consuming half of that. Perfect. Sewage treatment, we are handling a lot of in our lives and in our city both, so we're still good there. Okay, healthcare. We are losing the battle on crematorium availability. That's going to be something we're going to have to resolve. We'll have to put down a new crematorium. We were going to anyways to come down here to work in this district, but it looks like it's going to demand us to put a second one in as well. All right, garbage management, still doing great. Processing, 14. Using 11. So we're pushing the limits of our recycling plant, but not enough that we're going to have to buy another one yet. So far, so good. Okay, fire coverage. Are we good on fire coverage? Our fire departments are covering the whole city. So far, so good. Okay, how are we doing with police coverage? Okay, prison availability? None. Sentenced? None. Okay. Jail availability? 25. Arrest criminals? 0. Cool. We only have one police department, though, and as you can see, unfortunately, there is next to no police coverage in the southeast part of our city, or up there either. The police headquarters, while we can't afford one right now, because they are most of them are $2 million. Huh? No, they're all pretty freaking expensive. Just one of these, one of the headquarters alone is going to be enough to cover the whole city. They really undid themselves for services in this game. In most respects. All right, how about welfare? Welfare office, we've only got one. It's only servicing one small little portion of a city. The game would like us to install a couple more of them, definitely, to help out with our welfare coverage. Now, the good news is, even though our welfare coverage is low, our citizen well-being looks like it's pretty solid, with the exception of the people living in the low-rent apartment complexes that we have up over here in the northwest corner next to our interchange. And there's one or two smaller buildings, but even still, they're only a few shades off of green. It looks like there's only one place that's really bad. What's your problem? And even for them being very bad, they are neutral, so they'll be fine. Okay. What else? Well, our transit. How's our transit doing? Let's take a look. Our bus line, 2 lines, is handling almost 7,000 people a month, which is spectacular. Our train with 2 lines is only handling 16. Yeah. What can I say? Just yeah. Buses are far more popular than trains are in this game. Most forms of transport are more popular than trains are in this game. And it kind of makes sense because which would you rather do? Would you rather go stand on a street corner and get a bus, or would you want to walk 15 blocks to get on a train? If you're going to another city or an entirely different end of the city, a train's going to be faster. But that's not your average trip to the grocery store or the doctor's office, which is what a bus is for. All right, so we can leave all those. I am specifically ignoring education right now because I want to have water in my mouth before I look at it. So let's do this. Hmm. And once again, education has failed us all with eligible 12,000 students in school, 6 max capacity. Fighting education in this game is harder than anything else at all. When people move into this city, I swear the only people that move into your cities are toddlers. At least that's how the simulation acts. And it slows down your city growth tremendously. We're going, and this was something else that I noted. We put in these cute little houses and all these jobs, and I'm telling everybody to freaking commute from the other side of the city so far. Um, we do need to address this briefly, just for the sake of getting it done. Okay, so what is that? Is that a 4? And that is a 3-lane road coming out of there. All right, so I'm going to hook up to this roundabout, come out of it at roughly 44. We're going to swing around the highway system. Hey, and you can see our new road service vehicles doing their job down there, making the highway a better, safer, happier place. Can highways be a happier place? Probably used the wrong word there. Okay, we'll come up around to there. Yeah, there's no way to make this look good. We don't need this to be a 6-lane road right here. I think we'll be just fine deleting that and having that connect as 2. Speaking of ugly intersections. Okay, in an ideal world, we would come over here and give us the same treatment that we gave these rail lines and some of these other roads cutting through the highway system. Um, it'll take several minutes to pull that off. I don't want to do it at this moment. So consider this a future development as we duck under the highway and eventually reconnect over here to our industrial area. So people who don't necessarily want to take a trip on Concord and Pacific don't have to. Okay, what style is that? That is 6. Let's get rid of it. I'm actually going to go ahead and end this here. I'll lay out a couple more roads, I think. Kinda. I get into this problem so many times. And yeah, so what I'm doing here with these pathways, we are preserving the zoning cells like we usually do, so that we can come back and upgrade these to pedestrian pathways later in our build as we develop up this neighborhood. And we're also doing this to make best use of these gaps in the zoning grid, with the intention of improving walkability, decreasing the need for foot traffic on our roads. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm going to end this here because our next lesson is going to be in using the district tool. Um, Districts in this game are your way of telling the game, hey, focus your efforts here. Just as a quick teaser, let's go over here to our district creation tool. So we click on this areas tool down here. Then we want to select district creation. And then we're going to select just this swath of area. Now you can only select swaths that are within your buildable tiles. Okay. Then even once you've created it, you can always grab an edge and drag like you would be if you were setting up a zonable industry area as well. And very, very crash course on this. Districts allow you to do two particular things. Welcome to Strawberry Downs. Over here, it'll allow us to set individual policies for this area, things that the game will take in mind when it's developing something right in the immediate section. So we could put in speed bumps to reduce the speed of vehicles in the area, add a parking fee to discourage people from parking on the roads, increase recycling, decreases free time, which will make your citizens less happy, but it also decreases your garbage. Heavy traffic ban, things of this nature. You sort of see where this goes. Gated community, only people who live there are allowed in. Energy consumption of Gurnus actually reduces the energy consumption in your district by 5%. That's actually a really good one. And a combustion engine ban to encourage people to buy electric vehicles, which are more expensive but pollute less. Now, that's half of it. Once you have a district, you can click on it, you'll be able to get an idea of how many local services are there, and it'll give you some information about the people living in it. Here's why districts are ultimately important. If I were to build a high-rise down here, and somebody got sick, they'll put out a call for medical vehicles. And when they do, any of the medical facilities in the city are going to respond, whether it's a vehicle here, or a vehicle here, or a vehicle up here. You're starting, I hope, to see the problem. I don't want a medical clinic up here to respond to a medical emergency down here. I mean, this is what? 30 minutes, 45 minutes to go from point A to point B if you're driving this? I don't want to wait that long for an ambulance. Do you want to wait that long for an ambulance? No, you don't. You want an ambulance that's near you, near your service area. Same thing with the police, same thing with fire, same thing with crematoriums, which that's a big issue. And it also allows you to set education buildings to target a specific district. So if you build a school here, you don't have students coming in all the way from down here. And that will really make a big impact as your city expands. City Planner Plays refers to this map in most of his builds, instead of a city, as a county with multiple cities in it. And I love the concept of that. Eventually, this will become a homogeneous mess. It's, we're not going to be able to tell really where one thing ends and one thing begins. But we've segmented off all of this area down here with a highway. We've segmented this off with a highway. We've segmented this off with highway. We've segmented this off sort of with a highway. And all the traffic going from here to here has to go through an interchange. All the traffic going from here to here has to go into an interchange. Same interchanges, interchanges. Everywhere is the interchange. Being able to enforce the limits where your sims will go to receive services will help you out in the long run. And that's what we're going to be playing with pretty extensively. In fact, I think that was the whole course in this. But I want to do that for our next stream and start off our stream with that so you guys can see how districts work. But, quick city tour. What have we gotten done today? Well, we started by laying out our new oil buildings and did some very basic decoration up here. Showed you guys that if you do surfaces and then put a building on it to zone, the buildings will spawn on the surface. But if you put down the buildings and then try to run the surface around them, it won't work as well. Showed you guys why I think the oil things are so atrociously ugly. And then we didn't really do much else up here. I left these farms that I'm not happy with as they are. We scooted down. We went over here. We built in our new vehicle factory, which is currently employing 320 out of 364 possible workers, an efficiency rate of 95%, and it is increasing our oil deposits and our general industrial efficiency, which is definitely a good thing. Went ahead and added a few additional industrial buildings down over here, and following that, we made the effort of installing our road maintenance depots, one for the southern edge, one for the northern section, up here in our industrial parks to improve the quality of our roads, the speed at which our drivers can drive, and how fast accidents get cleaned up. Then, last but assuredly not least, we drastically expanded our highway network. We linked this to a single point interchange and then a roundabout interchange. We adjusted our on-off on the east side of our roundabout interchange to come to a 4-lane road that is splitting up here and has a mild height difference on 2 levels. So we've got a 4-lane up here with 1 height difference, 4-lane right here with another height difference. It'll make a slight visual note. We decided that ultimately running a bridge over here is not going to work because of our C-lane issues that we'll have. We finally connected our southbound highway directly to an 8-lane road, directly to our 6-lane road that we, don't... Oh, hey there! Well, hey Ryoko, I am wrapping up our stream right now. Getting ready to ask you if you wanted to stream something else. And I was just showing the watchers what we got done. So go ahead and expand this into an 8-lane road because this is going to be, in theory, a popular road for people to drive on. Down here by the coast. And we connected all of that also with this another single point interchange that connects our city up. And someone is asleep in your Xbox room and you can't stream with me right now. Well, okay. That will slow you down significantly. Okie dokie. Well, that wraps me up, guys. I gotta take a break. I've got to get ready for a small appointment that I have to handle in about an hour. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I hope you all had a good time. Ooh. We had a car wreck and a half here, didn't we? Ew. Okay. Well, that's... See, and this is what our road maintenance service does. They got rid of the destroyed road rubbish on the road. Now we're waiting for a police car to come over and secure the scene. All right. Yeah, it is kind of Grand Central. You know what? I said I was going to end the stream here. I'm going to hang out for another couple minutes because Ryoko just joined us, and honestly, I appreciate the company. So what I'm going to swing over here and go ahead and start doing is place another school. No, 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 I'm done. I'm done for now. All right, what I will do instead of building something is I'm going to show you one thing that we can do that we haven't done yet. And that is we're going to follow. Let's look for somebody worthwhile to follow. I'm going to pause the game. Okay, I'm going to grab somebody on the highway. What are you? You're a bus. Road maintenance vehicle. Okay. You're headed to the Modern Community College coming in from out of town. Let's follow you. Put you on follow. And then we're going to get a city view of, well, our city, roadside view of our city. So when you click on a vehicle, a person, or whatever, it'll tell you what it's doing, what type of vehicle it is, who's driving it, where they're going, and all that other fun stuff, how many passengers are in this particular vehicle. You can do this. I do this with buses a lot. It helps me make sure that I've got my lane set up, and wow, they drive like some people I know. Let's move my mouse so I'm not highlighting every tree we come across. And they brake like I do. It doesn't take long to see why there are so many traffic accidents in the city. I'm just saying. So you can see what your Sims see. Well, not Sims, citizens see as they're driving along. Going from point A to point B, and how your city layout actually impacts them, impacts the views, impacts whatever. And get a street eye view of your buildings and how they are meshing with the geometry of the game, or not meshing, as the case may be. Eileen Woronos. I do not have any idea who you are talking about. Sorry, Ryoko, I am clueless there. Weird graphic glitch right here. I don't know what this is about. Okay, and now he's parked. And did he get out? Who is it? Did I see the person get out? There we go. There's our driver. And now we'll go ahead and follow him. And we'll just ignore that graphic glitch that made everything disappear right there. No, my roads do not yeet into oblivion. I am against dead ends. I'm not thrilled with whatever graphic glitch is going on right here, but I'm against dead ends. Watching this guy walk is getting really boring. Let's switch to another vehicle, because it looks like he is intending to go over here to the Modern Community College. Good for him, furthering his education. Let's go ahead and follow a bus next. And this is why I set up these buildings as our college dorms. They mesh so well together, literally. Top and bottom down, especially once they hit level 5, which I think they all did. And 4, close enough. Well, I'm stalking just because I want to get a ground eye view of the city, show off what we've accomplished so far today a little bit, and just to see how our city sort of blends in from the street view. Because it's one thing looking down from overhead and like, oh, high density, low density, medium density. It's another thing to actually see what you're building when you're doing this. And I lost my follow on my bus. We're just we're just gonna flatten everybody. Yeah, your Sims will aggressively street park in this game. I don't like it. It it looks so ugly to me, but I guess it's self-realistic. So when we do some residential neighborhoods soon, we'll be cutting down on the street parking and putting some plants and flowers and stuff around it. Ah, this guy's coming into our bus depot. Cool. I didn't even look to see what his destination was. Consider this bonus stream content that I wasn't planning on doing today. And off he goes to the next location. We're just going to completely clip through all those cars, pretend they don't exist. The absolute height of realism. Oh, that made me cringe. Yeah, yeah, that was nuts. I just completely. I was afraid that the game was about to trigger a massive accident right there, and I wasn't sure how I was going to respond to that. And if we take a look at the farms from the ground level, you can see why I don't like them so much because there's absolutely no vegetation there. Like there is no depth of field at all, and it looks so strange to me. Not depth of field, but just depth. Yes, seasons are supposed to be in this game. I'm surprised we haven't shifted them yet. I honestly don't know why. Right now it's telling me that it's summer season. Um, I'm really shocked that we haven't had winter. I don't know if this map has winter disabled on it. Shouldn't, but I haven't noticed it. All this empty real estate I haven't developed yet. Is that big? Oh, it's a cargo train terminal all the way over there. Those are cranes I'm seeing. Okay. All of this empty space right there is giving me feelings, and they're not good ones. Yeah, it really should have some tall crops, but the game just doesn't provide them. It doesn't show them. It doesn't have a graphic for them. It's a very odd oddity. I'm not able to go in and drop uh, props on it unless I'm using a mod like Prop Anarchy or something like that. And I don't know why. I think if they actually had detail to them, I would be more inclined to build more of them. I've only built so many farms and oil fields and things in this city so far because I'm trying to show off how these things look and how these things work. Normally, I do the bare minimum, import the rest of it, and build the crap out of offices. But I've been taking my time with this. Usually, I rush through this kind of stuff so fast. Like by now, if I was doing a city for fun, it would be well over 100,000 people easily by this point after a week. Huh, the local train station didn't render at all for some reason. Oh, it did. That was just the back of it. I guess it has a giant parking lot. All right. Oh, hey, that's that mini unusable park I put in. I don't know. I was wondering that same question too. Did they get in the recycling truck or did they get in the bus? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I feel like I go either way. All right, let's zoom out of here. We've had our little tour of the city. Let's get back up to. So we just drove past that local train station, and wow, that is a big empty spot of gray nothing right there. And if I up, okay, that's why we didn't upgrade it when we built it. We've got money. We'll go ahead do that now, just to make that look so much better. Yeah, I like that. Okay, one problem fixed. Yeah. And we've got all this undeveloped land back through here that I cannot help myself. We're going to put in some, not row housing, we're just going to put in some medium density housing back here. On that corner, on that corner. I'm going to go ahead and slip in a school here because we're going to need more than one anyways. Go ahead and upgrade it. I'm going to put in a square of dense commercial right there. Fill in that side to that point. I'm going to hide that crematorium right there with from the elementary school with some low density office and low density North American commercial. Fill that in there as well. Drop in 2 parks side by side. 1 more park of that type right there. Get our pedestrian pathway. No, I wasn't ignoring you. I was looking at the screen. I cannot add cows. You did miss the deer earlier. We did have some deer wandering around on our highways earlier. It felt so much like home. Why is that not letting me set that road? Oh, no, no, do not start singing country roads. You know how much I hate that song. Um, so I've said this many times before, but I live in West Virginia. Uh, and as you likely know, Country Roads is our song. And I hate it. I hate the song. I'm not a country fan to start with. And that song makes me want to just scream every time I hear it. And I'm saying this because I go to my mall any opportunity I get to sit down to write, to do my job, which is, writing books. And when I do, I just go sit in the food court. I get free Wi Fi, I get caffeine, I get refills. They have recently added a coffee truck into my mall. I wish them all the best in the world. I don't drink coffee, but hey, you know what? Local businesses, doing local business things. I I hope they do very, very well. They constantly run country roads on a loop from their little coffee truck. That's again not outside the mall, but inside the mall. And it is killing me. Again, I hope they do very well. Uh, a lot of people love them, love the song. I'm not complaining about them. I hate that song. My hatred for that song knows no bounds, and it's just been completely wrecking me. Okay. Huh. I did not know that. I did not know it was popular over the world. I just, growing up here, it's like that's our song. It's like okay, that's evidence that was born in the wrong state. But no, that's really cool that other people consider it, their local song. So that's good for them as long as they're enjoying it. What can I say? Okay, so we just put in a small little neighborhood back here. We went ahead and added an additional school to start to combat our education problem. Um, really, and we're back to having this traffic pile up off of this intersection. There's nothing that I can do about this, really. This is just something that's going to happen just about any time we load in a new neighborhood anywhere, especially right here where it's so close to everything else. I hate it, short of breaking this building and adding another roundabout right here, or getting rid of the traffic light and turning it into a stop sign. Um, Actually, that may be your best. Let me do that. See if that makes any sort of difference for us, just to keep this traffic moving. And I think I probably should need to add another small parking lot in the back of this whole area. Wow, I honestly had no idea about that. I just thought it was a local thing that people were just like, oh, hey, I recognize that song. I didn't realize that it had been something that had been glomped onto by the world at large. That's kind of cool. Like, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that, it's not cool for other people. So good for them. And hey, for that matter, good for John Denver. Jealous. Oh, that was probably a mistake right there. Okay, we're just going to have to wait for this traffic issue to resolve. I can't do a whole lot more about it than what I've done. We can make a. Well, no, I take that back. There is a little bit more I can do about it. Adjust our steps. Huh. All right, well, that is good to know. Thank you, Ryoko, for shedding some light on the song of literally my people. So, something I did not know, and I appreciate knowing now. Thank you. Don't ask me how I got rid of my mouse. Okay, we're going to add one more intersection over here. Crossing some lanes of traffic, adding some additional stuff. Of course, we would be off. That's even-ish-er. That became a lot more popular than I was anticipating. This is not a bad thing. We'll go ahead and roundabout it. A medium about it. Okay, looks like that change is going to help things out pretty significantly. I think. This snarl, I don't know what is going on here. Um, it looks like we have a lot of traffic coming in here that wants to go up, and it's picking up. It's crossing at that intersection rather than allowing traffic to go through. And then this traffic is coming down. It's getting stuck here because this isn't moving. And this, let me take a quick look at the road. What is the actual road pathing here? Very weird. The road pathing there is very, very weird. The green represents civilians. The blue represents vehicles. And no, I did not catch it in my road pocket. Alright, there's one minor tweak I can make to this, and I think at that point we're just going to have to let it be what it is. And that's that I can turn that into an 8-lane road coming out of that intersection right there. I'm sort of watching, looks like part of the hang-up are people crossing the road right there. Can't do a ton about that, because even if I turn off that crosswalk, people are just going to cross regardless of what I do. And some of the traffic is a result of putting in a parking lot right up here. Can't do anything about that. That's just, I need a parking lot right there, and traffic slows down around it. So, on the other hand, it does look like, well, I was going to say we've eased the traffic congestion, but reality is we haven't, have we? Well, we've made some honestly, look, we've made some advancements on it. The Aspen Highway exit has largely cleared up. We still have problems over here with Applegate, and looks like that problem is going to maintain. Until the Aspen Highway stuff breaks down, those vehicles aren't going to be able to move through. Traffic simulation in this game is a little rough. It's the only thing I can tell you guys. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. This does sort of make sense why this would be traffic congested, but it doesn't make sense that you'd have buildings pop up suddenly and suddenly, 300 people moving into them. That's not realistic. We all know that. That's just not how life works. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and drop some light offices and some light commercial back this way. And I'll go ahead and fill in some additional medium just because why not? The traffic problem's not bad enough as it is. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit worse here and there. But all this extra space is bugging the crap out of me. And we'll go ahead and add in one more school right over here. Now, with those investments done and this development in to sort of help feed some of our new industry, take a look at our workforce availability. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And this traffic is going to just be what this traffic is. Because, okay, this lane is not working. It's clogging up our street right here. So let's just delete that. Because unfortunately, if you notice, these two trucks haven't moved this entire time. On the other hand, at least some of this other traffic has broken up, but we just, by building these, we've spawned additional traffic flow coming problems. So, catch 22. You build, you get traffic. You don't build, you don't get traffic, but you don't build your city. Okay, what large sports park? We can fit in another soccer field right back over here. And it will stretch from one side to the other perfectly. I'm going to drop that right there. Then I'm going to come up right here and I'm going to see if we can get a small pedestrian street to connect. We can look at that. Perfect. Except it's off by a square in that direction. Come from one neighborhood to another and just to have a soccer field to chill out after school. I love that. That I think is epic. And if I was a person moving into this neighborhood, that would be something that would be really freaking cool if I had kids or wanted to get some extra exercise. Screwed up that path though. Let's fix it. Go ahead and get away with some low density homes right here. Right next to some mixed housing. Right next to an additional parking lot. That will fit in perfectly right there. Followed by some trees that will run. From edge to edge right there. Oh, we can also, no, guess we can't. Never mind. I think I tried doing that before and forgot. Nope, that gap is not big enough and I just ruined somebody's house. Okay. All right. And so you see here, traffic development, We added new stuff. The traffic problem shifted. Everybody's getting off here, and now they're trying to load in down here to get in down here. Um, Kinda feel like I might be able to get away with this. I don't know how realistic this would be. To add a 2-lane, one-way road right off of a highway to connect down into an arterial. We absolutely will get rid of that. We put in commercial there, so let's go ahead and slip office right beside that. Okay, that's the only solution I have, he says, while making air quotes, to this particular problem. We can't get rid of a crosswalk right here. I don't want to get rid of a stoplight because we literally just put a school right there. And we've got another school right here. I don't want to create a pedestrian headache issue right here. The downside is we are having a headache issue with now everybody, instead of going over here to the interchange, they're now trying to jump off down here. There's no pleasing this game in some ways. We can see if maybe instead of 2, we can go 3. Yeah, we can make that a 3-lane, one-way road. I do have the option of upgrading this 4-lane, but this is temporary traffic congestion. When people aren't moving in by the hundreds, we don't have this problem. So it's just a problem we're going to have to live with. And it's why sometimes you want to stagger your builds, take your time, decide what's important, when's important for you to put in a new development here or there. Do you have the infrastructure to support it? And that's what we've been building up for this whole time, is making sure that we are building an infrastructure system that can support a larger city. I just wasn't expecting to build a larger city up here. The plan is to build it down south, but I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of some of this extra space that we have that we're not really using, just to fill it up for the sake of filling it up a little bit. Plus, with all of our new industrial developments, hey, more work available. And we did need to get a head start on solving our education crisis, because our education is still in crisis. We still need at least 1 more school, probably 2. And then tomorrow, districts. Or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. All right, one last time. It is time for links. And then I'm out of here. All right, follow me on YouTube. Why? Because I will be posting these videos to YouTube as I do them, much delayed. I've got episodes 1 and 2 and 3 is going up this afternoon. I'll be posting a video for Pokemon Go, if not today, tomorrow. I will occasionally be posting some Fallout 76 guides because I love playing 76, and I recently got a couple of new weapons that I want to show you guys how they work, because they're weird and they're cool. So follow me on YouTube for that. Plus, with time running out for the Talk of Tick, I'll probably start promoting my book stuff on TikTok too. I don't know how well that's going to work. All right. Or if you like my book stuff, or if you don't know anything about my book stuff, which is entirely possible, I write fantasy horror, I write cyberpunk, I write urban fantasy. I like designing cities to fit in my urban fantasy, which is a little what we're doing here, but not quite. And you can find me on Facebook under facebook.com/saga DMW, as in Saga of the Dead Men Walking, my fantasy horror novel series. Please feel free to give me a like and follow over there. Then finally, next to finally, you can also find me on the web at sagadmw.com. New website, just got it redesigned. It's working much better on mobile devices. Please be sure to give it a look. Today, January the, whatever the heck today is, January the Oh, thank the Lord, it's already the 19th. We're almost done with this month. Um, on the 19th, I will be releasing my new book covers for my upcoming launches later this year, but they'll be going out to my email newsletter. So go to my website, sign up for the newsletter, find it. Otherwise, you guys won't see what they are until sometime late February. Alrighty. Then there's one more thing to do. I also run a cosplay charity organization in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We support food pantries. We dress up as characters. We goof around. We work events. We do parades. And we are Creative Cosplay of the Mid-Ohio Valley Incorporated. There's actually why I've started doing streaming. Not just because I love talking to you lovely people or listening to myself talk when you lovely people aren't around, but because the truth is Twitch offers some really good charity functions to help people who are running their organizations or fundraising for them to earn extra money. And if you're telling me I can log on and play Cities Skylines 2 for 12 hours on some charity stream where I'm apparently occasionally drinking a bottle of hot sauce, and I don't have to drive 2 hours, set up a table, 20, 15 different props, and carry stuff all afternoon and dodge traffic, Skylines 2 it is, to raise extra money. So, incorporating that, but I do have to reach affiliate status first before I can take advantage of the fundraising tools. So, be sure to give us a like and follow on that. Any questions about my streams, any questions about what I'm doing with my cities, don't hesitate to ask. Send me a message. I'm pretty sure you can do that on Twitch. Send me a link, send me an anything, and I'll be happy to answer your questions as best as I can, whenever I can, as I see them, to help you learn how to build your own amazing city in Cities Skylines 2. If you like what I do on this for this game, I strongly recommend you follow City Planner Plays, Biffa Plays Indie, sorry, City, yeah, what is City Planner Plays, right? Yeah, City Planner Plays. Also recommend you following Biffa Plays Indie Games, Imperature, and Mike Builds for some amazing fun tips. While I'm building this city, I'm nowhere near as talented as they are, so I'm trying to focus on showing you guys how the mechanics work rather than necessarily, ways to do a super cool rail overpass, because, look, we all agree this needs work. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for tuning in for the bonus content today. Thank you to the lovely Ryoko for helping me do that this afternoon. So, you guys be great. I will talk to you in a day or two. Good night for now.